Are there marketing tasks that need to be done for your company, but you just don't have the time or enough people to help? Do you hate managing social media? Are you curious about starting a podcast? This episode is hosted by the founder of GetLeverage.com, Nick Sonnenberg. Leverage is a premier marketing platform that pairs you with a team of experts for any big or small project that you want to outsource. On this week's episode of the Leverage Podcast, we're bringing you part one of a two-part episode with Suzy Batiz, founder of both Poopouri and Super Natural brand, and more recently named Forbes' richest self-made woman. Listen in as Nick and Suzy discuss everything from the relationship of energy and money to plant-based medicines and personal development, and find out how Suzy navigated her own journey as an entrepreneur. Also, this October 16th through 18th, Nick is hosting the next Bullseye event with Lee Brower in Denver. This event is for truly successful entrepreneurs who are looking to take their businesses to the next level through identifying their direction and learning the skills and tools to help them get there. Limited seats are available, so if you're interested, email nick@getleverage.com with workshop in the subject line for more details. Enjoy the episode and don't forget to subscribe.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Leverage Podcast. This is a really, really special episode. I am in person in a sound recording studio in my friend Suzy Batiz's beautiful home in a church. Welcome to the show, Suzy.
Hi. Thank you. I'm excited you're here.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure crashing in your house for the last 4 days. It's been fun. So I'll just do a quick intro, but I don't script these things. I want to just take the conversation where it goes. But Suzy is the founder, CEO of Poopouri and, the spray that goes in the toilet. A lot of our clients have said that it saved their marriage.
Yes.
And now you have a new product called Super Natural.
Yep.
And what's Super Natural?
Super Natural is a line of home cleaning products made out of essential oils, but it's the lowest carbon footprint. And it's beautiful.
I'm looking forward.
And delicious. It will blow your mind, guaranteed.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting the box, but just by seeing how you've decorated your house, your style, how you live, I can only imagine that it's just beautiful and perfect because that's who you are. You have such an elegant style and unique style and vibe to you that I would imagine that that's the secret sauce really with a lot of these. Whatever project you touch, could be anything. I would be the first investor just because I just knowing you, I know that it's going to be something special, whatever it is that you touch.
I may hit you up on that.
Well, not right now. I might have to hit you up.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you. No, I really love iteration. I love to iterate to perfection. And with Supernatural, my goal was zero compromise. I wanted it to be 100% natural. I wanted it to be the lowest carbon footprint that I could do, and it had to be beautiful. Like, that's the thing. And the ingredients inside it had to be delicious. And rarely do you see that all within one product. You know, you'll have a great inside of a product, but then it's like crappy plastic packaging, or it's a really great product and it's not very pretty, or it's pretty and then it's crap inside. So we do a lot of compromising. And my goal with this brand is, and really I think that compromise, let's just talk about that for a second. I think that cost us a lot. Think about it. Whenever we compromise doing something that we don't want to do, what does that cost us? It costs us a lot of energy. And I think that's the same thing in brands. That compromise, it costs the planet a lot, costs us a lot. We get not a great experience. And the same thing like within a personal thing. Like, the dinner the other night, I compromised on my integrity. And what does that cost me? I mean, I will make sure. The wonderful thing is I'm a wonderful, resourceful recycler. So I will pull and I will reap the harvest.
You take an experience, you find bits of it, even if it was at the time a negative experience. What can you learn from it? And 100%. You repurpose it.
Yeah.
But another thing, too, compromise aside from the energy, it also, just from an operation standpoint, adds operational complexity. Like a lot of the times early on with my company, we were making compromises. Someone wanted this, which was out of the norm. So we'd be like, okay, we can figure that out. And then after about 100 of them, you're left with this, like, house of cards that's like
Yes.
horrible to manage.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. That's
Yeah.
why you're here
Yeah.
in my company. Yeah, so Nick's been working in Poopouri's offices and Supernatural's offices for the past 2 days, getting us organized because that is where we've compromised.
Yeah.
Building, relatively fast and not knowing what we're doing, and it's like a house of cards.
Well, you're not that bad, and your team is awesome. It was really fun to go into the office for the last 2 days and hang out with you guys.
They're great.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's fun.
So I don't want to just talk about the history of Poopouri. If you're interested in how Poopouri was built, I'm sure that there's a million YouTube videos on that story. But
there are. Probably not a million, but there's at least 100.
Right. And also, Suzy's just been named Forbes one of the, top 100 or 60?
Richest self-made women. But what's interesting about that, only 5 women on that list were actually self-made.
Interesting.
Everyone else either had investors or something. Yeah, and I was one of the 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of other... You were just talking about an Edison Award, which I had no idea about. I've been now with you for 4 days. We've been talking about a whole bunch of Suzy stories, but that Suzy story never came up. What was the Edison Award about?
Yeah, it was just for innovation. And it was funny sitting in a room full of, like Elon Musk won the big one for Tesla, right? It's like, hello, and here I am with a poop spray. But it was everyone in between. What was amazing is sitting in a room of inventors. I felt insecure, right? I'm with nanoscientists and Tesla engineers and people doing these incredible engineering feats. And they were so generous and amazing. They loved Poopouri. They were just so excited. It was really incredible. Yeah, I just kind of, they're like, what'd you do? I'm like, I made a poop spray. What'd you do? Oh, actually there was a guy from NASA that was, harvesting marine algae from the ocean so he could, save our planet. And I'm like, I made a poop spray. Lots comes up with that conversation.
Well, your marketing was perfect, and you're tackling a problem that every single person has. So in a lot of ways, yours is more genius than the marine stuff or even like mining asteroids.
Mining asteroids.
Yours is a day-to-day problem.
Or Jeff Bezos wanting to put trash into the atmosphere. Yeah, what is up with that? Hey, Jeff, we got to talk.
Trash in the atmosphere?
Yeah, that's his solution to trash. He wants to actually... That's what someone told me. So we'll have to Google this. But they said that his solution for all the Amazon trash is to put it out in space.
Huh. Someone else's problem.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about, do aliens exist? So, it's their problem if they do exist.
Yeah, but how do we know it's not going to come back?
I don't know. There's probably something with gravity and the way that all works
think?
that it's just like...
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the solution, like a good solution.
It's a solid Band-Aid, probably.
It's a solid Band-Aid.
It's a solid Band-Aid.
Oh, don't worry. I'll just make a bunch of shit and just throw it out in space.
Deal with it later.
Yeah. Something just seems like, come on, that's the best you can do? Think a little harder.
I love when we can just go in different directions here. So we're going to be hearing much more about you in the news, and you've been awarded some other things that are coming out too. So yeah. I'm so grateful for being able to call you a friend.
Yeah,
you were such a special person.
Thank you.
And people know you for your business success, but it's just so refreshing and nice to be around someone as business successful, but you're so down to earth, fun to be around, cool. Like you made me eggs this morning at your house. Like,
did you see the eggs?
They were awesome though.
Yeah, but what'd they look like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they look great. And you have your own chickens in the back. You're just down to earth, and like you haven't let it get to your head, which I respect. It's one thing to be successful, and that's an accomplishment, but I think it's even a bigger accomplishment, like how you embrace the success, and I really respect the way you've embraced it.
Thank you. I think whenever you've lost everything, a few times, it's easy to be, kind of humbles you to the point where you know that it's not everything. So I've had a very good life lesson in that I knew not to build, because in the past I built my whole life around money or the seeking money, and I was going to do it different this time. So the money doesn't make me. It's just a wonderful icing on this delicious cake that already exists.
Right.
And you do a lot with it. It's awesome. Money's awesome. It's just not everything.
Well, it's the fuel to whatever it is that you are more passionate about, or it allows you the ability to have the luxury of doing some things that maybe fuel your energy. But
Yeah. And it's just fun.
yeah.
You get to wear cute silk robes.
Yeah. It's a cool robe.
It is. Feel it. Like it's really soft.
Damn.
I know. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to do things like that, and it's fun. You get to go, I have on a silk robe. This is lovely. And you know that it's not everything.
So what is everything to you, or what's exciting to you these days? You know, aside from your work and Supernatural and Poopouri, like what are you excited about? Where are you putting your energy?
Yeah, I'm really putting my energy. I feel like there's a new revolution happening within me, and you've got to witness a little this week. I'm doing just some really deep excavating and some old patterns that are left, because I feel that I'm going to need a lot of levity for this next chapter of my life. And it's really a chapter that's more of service and sharing, right? So I spent this past, 15 years really building a lot. I was building, and most of my life I was building and then crashing and building and crashing. And this, I built a lot, and it's been fun and it's wonderful. But again, I know that's not everything, and it's not fulfilling to me to go, oh yeah, I'm one of America's richest women. Okay. And now I'm like, okay, what do I really want to do? I really want to help people I want to help people get here internally, not here as in a place like on the Forbes list, right? Because I wasn't even trying to do that. But I'm at a place internally that I love, I'm happy, I'm joyous, and I want to share and help people, just share anything that I've learned to help them on their journey.
Do you think that that's a big reason why you've had this business success, is that you weren't trying for that and you let it kind of come naturally, but what you were optimizing for was for something else, not for the money, but for your own personal growth, your energy, your happiness, and then naturally that's what led to all this success?
100%. Yeah, I really believe it. As a matter of fact, I'd been on a spiritual sabbatical before I started Poopouri, and it was about 4 years, and I was sitting at home and I was just crying and listening to Gangaji. And Gangaji is like this.
I was going to ask, what is that?
Yeah. She's like this enlightened guru woman, who talks a lot about Zen non-duality and that everything's an illusion. And I was really just in the most probably bliss state that I've ever been in. And then the idea for Poopouri came along, and I started on that journey, and it's been a whole 14-year ceremony of, can I maintain that level of bliss? It's one thing to go and be enlightened, and I mean enlightened not in the arrogant I'm enlightened, but in the, we all have enlightenment moments. It's like you get it, right? Everything, you're one with everything, and you understand everything. The problem is we lose it, right? So my big goal is still to reach my highest evolution within this lifetime. And how can I do that while I'm also building a business? Like, how can my business actually be a catalyst for my personal growth?
And how do you feel like you are right now on that journey of hitting your highest potential?
Oh, I don't even think I've started.
Do you think that you've even scratched the surface yet?
No. That's the reason I really feel like it's like there's just so much more. I feel like, I think I told you yesterday, I feel like this little, like my tea kettle, right? Like getting really hot and kind of brewing and bubbling inside. And it's like, oh my gosh, what do I want to do? And I know I want to do really big shit. Not because so I can walk around and say I did really big shit, but more like if life is a playground, like I want to play, right? And there's some ideas I have. I'm working on gaming and platforms, and that would help elevate consciousness, and how can I do it in a big way? And that it really excites me. And I have zero experience. I think I played Mario Brothers with my kids back in the day, and that was about it. So I have zero experience in video games or even gaming technologies or AI or VR and AR. But what I'm passionate about is how can we create these states of consciousness that would be a training ground like ayahuasca was for me. The one thing I learned from so many journeys is this: I developed a sense of will or agency. It's not really will, it's a sense of agency to where I could navigate the energy within the medicine. Because, my first 35 ceremonies, like literally my ass was handed to me. I mean, it was brutal. And then I started learning how to navigate within that state. And I started learning that everything's energy. So that's been my practice as I've been building my business. Is this big scary thing that's happening in business real? Or is it an energetic state that I can somehow shift? And how do I shift that? I shift that internally, right? So for me, ayahuasca is a practice ground for actually real life. So how can I create some platform that could be a practice ground like that? And then when you realize at some point there is no ayahuasca, you're always in ceremony. And then it all becomes one. Then it's like I've been in the game the whole time. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like you're in the Matrix.
I'm in the Matrix, yeah. So so that's what I'm fascinated about. And
but did you always think, like, when did you do your first journey?
It would be almost 13 years ago.
So kind of towards the beginning of Poopouri?
It was absolutely at the beginning of Poopouri. Yeah, Poopouri is 13 years old, and yeah, it was right when I started Poopouri.
Gotcha. So from the beginning of Poopouri, you were already on this kind of journey, exploration.
Oh yeah.
Of how to get yourself personally to a deeper understanding and awareness and next level.
Yeah, and I can see where recently I've sort of reconciled with Poopouri, because I can see where I've kind of used Poopouri as my training ground. So yeah. I've done a lot of apologizing to Poopouri, right? Because it's been, I think of everything in energy, and I do believe that Poopouri has her own energetic state. She's this living, dynamic organism that's sort of out in the world expressing herself. But I can see where I was more interested in my own personal growth a lot and not necessarily hers. And she's been such a wonderful ally in helping me.
Yeah, we were talking last night, and I was saying, I kind of view leverage as just a experimental lab for me to test ideas, but that's not the end-all be-all.
No.
The end-all be-all is this much bigger thing where right now it's serving its purpose, and it's a cool idea, and I like it, but I'm using it as a big experiment.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what Poopouri has been, this experiment. Also an experiment in, can I receive support? Right? I had a story, one of my first memories was cooking for my parents at 4 years old. So I had this deep programming that I'm not supported. So that was a major trip up for me for years. I kept hiring people that weren't great, right? Because I was looking through the lens of, oh, they're perfect. They're going to screw up, and then I'm going to have to come in and save the day. So I was in this energetic cycle
So
loop.
on a subconscious level,
you're
you're hiring people that will fail?
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did that for years. So I went in and have done a lot of, plant medicine work and EMDR and looking at my relationship to support, and also trusting the universe and trusting myself. I can support myself. The universe supports me, God, whatever you want to call that. And so that's just one example. It's like support. And then it's also relationship. How can I have relationships? I've been so many things within Poopouri. I've been a terrified bully. I've been a loving, compassionate leader. It's like one of my favorite quotes is from Walt Whitman. It's like, am I a contradiction? Something like this. Yes, I am, for I am vast and contain multitudes. So if you look at what all's happened within Poopouri, I've not been any one thing, and I've been a lot of everything. And I've over the 13 years, I've been able to Like, what does that look like how does that feel when I'm this, controlling bully, And then what is that and who is that and who's that little kid that feels terrified? And that's what I mean. Like, I've done all this really rich inner work. And I'm so grateful.
And has it picked up over the years? Like, or were you always very deep in the personal development space? Or is it kind of just over the years you keep realizing more and more how important this kind of self-exploration is, and it's becoming more and more of who you are?
Yeah, very perceptive. It's been like it's been a progression.
Without knowing you for that long, I kind of feel like it's been a progression.
It's been a progression.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I get that sense.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't say it's been a progression as much as I'm closing the gap sooner. So, for example, like this dinner the other night, and I have this nugget. I used to would have gone a decade without realizing that, right? And then I got a little better at identifying things, and then I would go only a year, and then I would identify
Right.
things, So it's like so as I'm closing the gap more, it seems like it's building more because then more's going on, I think.
Gotcha.
And that's my thing. My mentor, Gay Hendricks, says there's zero intrinsic value in beating yourself up. So it's like something happens and it's like, oh, how did I create this? Or why was this in my space? And instead of, I spent years really beating myself up, It's just so brutal, like a perfectionist overdriving.
Me too. I'm always beating myself up.
Yeah.
That's not good for you?
Gay says it has zero intrinsic value.
Really?
Like none.
Huh.
And that, like, not 1 ounce.
I always attributed
value.
part of like some of my accomplishments. I never made the Forbes top 100, but the little ones that I have.
Yeah.
To being kind of harsh on myself and trying to be like an overachiever.
I would question that a lot. Actually, I think you're holding yourself back. My experience has been that I hold myself back. I used to hold myself back with all of that negativity. I thought it kept me in line. And what's funny about that is this, I think our biggest fear, one of our biggest fears is that we're going to be wild and out of control and too much, because that's what we were as kids, So we get conditioned into sit down, be good, stand in line, act right. And then we learn this punishment thing, this punishment loop. And then because that's how we were kept in line. This is the way you excel. And then we keep that loop within ourselves. When actually, I think it's the opposite. What I want is this wild woman that's inside of me that's able to just roar, That's what I'm looking at. Like, can she come out and be free like that little 4-year-old that screamed when she was hurt and, laughed when she was happy and.
Yeah, just be real.
Yeah. But, I've got, 50 years of conditioning, right, that I'm unwinding. So.
But
yeah.
Everyone's got a filter now. It's hard to find people that are authentic and real.
That's because we don't even know how. My experience is the more real I am. So I'm writing a course on abundance. And one of the things, the concept that I have is that we're all born with an authentic, energetic vibration. And that vibration gets, let's say, it's like a radio station. Maybe I can use the analogy of static. It gets the way it's tuned, right? So within our environment, the way we're raised, everything that happens, that vibration kind of gets waves or warbles in it. And I think it goes back to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, that our only goal here really is to find our way back to that authentic vibration. So as long as the reason I'm passionate about these warbles and the reason you got to see me this week going, hold on, there's a big nugget here. I want to go get it. I go after that shit because I know when I go after it, I'm going to come out a little closer
But
to that
why is the
vibration.
vibration from when you're 4 any better than what the new vibration might be at 80?
I don't think it's any better. I think it's the same. But what happens is we almost get, because of the programming, it gets calcified or warped. So what you're doing is returning back, the hero's journey. You had it all along. So we go on this journey being far away from ourselves. As we get older and do our work, we start coming in more to ourselves.
And do you think everyone has their own unique, is this like DNA? Like everyone has their own unique vibration that they come back to?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's some commonality between everyone, but then
No.
everyone experiences something and that throws...
No, I think it's all different.
All-
I think
it's-
everybody has their own unique expression. And we are not, from where let me just say the lens I grew up in. Okay, I don't know about everyone, but from what I've seen, everybody I've ever known, we are not nurtured or taught to express that authentic vibration. We are taught to fit in. Here's how you do it. Stand in line, sit up tall in your seat in school.
Yeah.
You're all in a row. Raise your hand when. So we are programmed to really, I mean, we can get all into this, but to be workers.
Yeah.
And that is not that authentic vibration.
Right.
So
And if you don't fit the bill of what they think is normal, then maybe you have ADD and you need to have Adderall
medication.
or something, right?
Yeah, let's medicate you because something's wrong, because you don't want to fit into that, which was always my problem. Like I just didn't fit in, and I couldn't fit in. Like I was incapable of fitting in. So that's the reason I think I'm so passionate about people not fitting in. 85% of people don't like their jobs. I mean, it's so
crazy.
stupid. I want everybody, I told you this, I want everybody to play musical chairs. Like I want to put a big sound system on. Do you remember that when you were young? And you're in kindergarten or something,
Yeah.
and the
I was good
music
at that game.
plays, and then when it stops, everybody just jumps to a different job. But until we start figuring out what we really want to do, not just to pay the bills, not to just exist, but to really be turned on. So that's my goal. I want to be more turned on. I want you more turned on, because when you're more turned on, number one, I have a playmate. It's like, well, this is fun. We all get to, not joking. Like I want to create a world of playmates that are everybody's in their own vibe. They're doing their own thing, but it also elevates. It that energy elevates.
I'll let you turn me on.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that I've
Wait,
always...
I want you to turn yourself on.
All right, well...
I'll just watch.
Yeah, you can watch me turn my... Okay, this is getting a little weird now, guys. Hi, we're back.
We're back.
Now we're
Okay.
back. All right, welcome back to the Leverage Podcast. One thing that I've always felt lucky was I've never really... I mean, in high school, I had weird jobs. Like I was like a swim teacher or an umpire or stuff. And in college, I was like a math teacher, like a TA. But,
That's impressive.
Oh, yeah, I used to teach
Wow.
all the undergrad
so
math
you must
classes.
be really smart.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
No, I'm like a one-trick pony. No, I always wanted to be...
As long as numbers are involved.
Yeah, as long as numbers involved, it's cool. Last night we were talking about kind of what would you want to do, what's the secret. Like, one thing I've always imagined is when I retire, I'll be a professor.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you be one now?
Too much other stuff that I want to accomplish and do,
Okay.
but like that's like when I don't need to work anymore, or when I want to just kind of live a certain lifestyle. I've always been interested in that.
See, this is what happens, though. This is what I'm talking about. So what I'm an advocate of is skip the stuff that you think you want to do or you have to accomplish and just go to what you actually want to do at the end game. Start doing your end game.
But I don't want to do it now. I just want that.
Well, you're in your 30s. You need to build. Yeah, you're in a building
I need to
phase.
build. I am in talks with teaching at like one course or like being a...
That'd be great.
Yeah, so it's already in the works. I don't have
You
any
can
interest
start teaching me.
Yeah. I'll be that like cool math professor. I'll get like a tattoo sleeve. People will think like, damn, that's the cool guy. You know what I mean? I got it all planned out in my head. I just got to execute on it now.
I have to have the look to be the cool
math
math
I need
teacher.
to first, before I do it, the things that need to happen is I need to get a bunch of tattoos.
I
and
need
then
a
I'm gonna
bunch
do
of
it.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe
I
you
want to
could
stick out like a sore thumb when I do it.
maybe you could teach me business stat. I could take it that fourth time
Yeah.
and actually pass it
I'll
this
pass it.
time.
But back to the whole
Okay.
job thing. One thing that I've always felt lucky is I've never felt like I've actually had a job. When I was a high frequency trader, maybe the last year, it started feeling like a job, which is why I quit.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, if work becomes work, then it's too late, and I need to move on to the next thing.
Now, how did you break out of what most people, because most people, when they're going to go to college, they have a slew of people telling them, advisors, parents, of what they should do so that you can make some money. How did you escape that?
Well...
And now I'm interviewing you.
Yeah, now it's just switched. Well, growing up, and not to go too deep into my upbringing, but one thing that was positive that I do think was good about my upbringing was I had 2 rules, and it was really simple: stay on the honor roll and don't go to jail. And I could do basically whatever I wanted. So being
That's nice.
my dad can't read, write, do fractions, didn't graduate 6th grade. My mom, very, very intelligent, but never went to college. So I never had any pressure school-wise. I put it on myself naturally.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have a mentor growing up. I figured out shit on my own and kind of figured it out. I was a survivor, and in the sense.
So it doesn't sound like you had a lot of that programming, which
which
is a luxury.
Yeah, I had no programming. I kind of just figured it out. There's a bit of luck. I'm talented at math, and a bit of luck too that I ended up going to Berkeley, and of all the schools that I applied to, that was the only one that I didn't pay for the application. I refused to pay because I thought I wouldn't get in because the average age was 32, and it was the #1 school in the world. And I was like, Mom, I'm 19. There's no chance. It's a waste of $200. She's like, no, you apply.
Aww.
And that's the only one, and that's where I ended up.
Good job.
So there was some luck. There was some luck involved too, but I never had any pressure.
I would argue that's luck.
Well,
but
I don't believe in luck. I believe in maximizing probability. So I put myself in situations which have high probabilities, and I don't get down on myself if something doesn't work out because I'm playing law of large numbers where. If I put myself in enough situations that have a high expected return, in the long run, it's going to win.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you're a risk taker. What was your Colby again?
8553. But it's all calculated risk. For me, it's a bigger risk. When I quit finance, it was a bigger risk not to, because the kind of the mental model I go through is, what will I regret more? Oh, hi guys.
I'm way back here.
Yeah. What will I regret more, doing it or not doing it? So, yeah, I was making a lot of money, but after kind of looking at it from that lens, I was thinking, I'm 30 years old. I have some money in the bank. I have no family. If I don't do this now, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. And that's kind of the way I was thinking about it.
Yeah, but that's not a lot of people think like that. So you're really, that's what I'm curious about. How did you escape that?
I think ultimately I have and not in a cocky way, I just have a deep confidence that I'll be okay because I just know that I'll figure it out.
Yeah. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah. It was scary. I remember after I quit, I was shaking. I was like, what the hell did I
physically
just do?
shaking?
I was physically shaking.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like...
Isn't it wild how the body does that?
I was physically shaking. I was like,
yeah.
I'm unemployable. I know this one very particular, I don't even know finance. I know algorithmic trading, high frequency trading. There's 100 people in the world that know this one thing. I'm like, well, what else can I do?
And look at you now.
Yeah, I was better off back then. No.
Yeah.
Should never have quit.
I want to go back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, somebody call and recruit
And if you're
him.
an old boss of mine, would you please hire me back? No.
Yeah. You're going to be getting all kinds of...
But I think I really like hanging out with you because you have we have totally different backgrounds, but there's a lot of similarities in terms of risk taking and just being confident in yourself and sticking to your guns and doing the right thing. And resilience is a common theme, I think, that we share.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, you went bankrupt. You
twice.
Before Poopouri, you had, 14 different companies?
Oh, at least. I need to write those down sometime.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. I'm a hustler.
Yeah, no,
I'm always...
I respect the hustle.
Oh, I told you. It's dude, I got to make $1. Let's go.
Totally.
But that's what happened was I was a hustler because I thought that the money was going to get me out.
Yeah.
And where I'm saying out is out of this painful state of where I was internally, okay? Money was my ticket. I was finally going to be happy and I was going to be somebody and I was going to have high self-worth. That's when I'm finally going to have made it. And after my second bankruptcy, I just shot that whole system and just decided to be happy.
So if I'm getting this right, you had 14 plus companies that didn't work, 2 bankruptcies, and what shifted was you went from trying to optimize to make money to optimize for happiness.
Yes.
And then Then you got Poopouri.
100%.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm still optimizing for happiness.
Well,
You see that? Like,
Yeah.
that is my,
Yeah.
it does not matter. People freak out. They're at work. They're like, what, you were like, do you have budgets? Do you have goals? And everybody's like, no, not really.
Yeah.
We don't.
Last night we were talking about like some marketing stuff for Poopouri. I'm like, so what's the budget?
Yeah, we don't have a budget. It's like we go after epic ideas,
Yeah.
right? Anytime I try to put a container on that, even within my own being, you know, it's like I limit. So I like to, whenever we're brainstorming a new marketing campaign, I like to see what's the biggest, wildest thing we can dream up. If I were to put $100,000 budget or $1 million budget on that, it caps it, you know? But I want us to go out there and see what we're doing. I would have never ended up with this poo emoji I'm building. I'll probably have $1 million in that. If you said, okay, Suzy, you want to build a poo emoji and have an event space, it's going to cost you $1 million. I would have told you to go, screw yourself. Like, are you kidding me? But the idea is so fantastic. It's so worth $1 million. So we do it opposite, which drives agencies crazy because they just want to give you an idea that'll go straight up to that budget, right? Yeah. So
what is this poo emoji? Because most people probably aren't thinking about $1 million poo emojis.
That's a good point. So I had built this 30-foot wide, 30-foot tall inflatable, it's this inflatable poo emoji, right? And it's this gorgeous event space inside. And we're going to have, it's going to be like a ride, like 9 people at a time can go in. And there's this whole ceremonial sort of like, it's got a lot of audio, video, you go in it, and it's like kind of like a little movie ceremonial space that you go into. Who knew that being inside a turd could be so transformational? But basically, it's a transformational experience inside a poo emoji. Yeah. And it's incredible. I cried yesterday. It's the first time I saw like the graphics up on the ceiling. Like this is really happening, and it's really fucking amazing. And that's the shit that blows me away, and that's our goals at Poopouri, is do stuff that we sit in it and cry, right? Then you know you've done something.
And that happens quite often over there, huh?
It does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's our goal. Like you saw that we have do epic shit all over the walls. And epic is different than just do shit.
Yeah, and I have you gave me a journal there, and it says on the journal, I own my shit. I love that. Poopouri is great for so many reasons, but the branding of it, there's so much you can do with shit that can be funny that you've really embraced that, which I respect that a lot.
The only problem is that Facebook and Instagram, we can't buy ads with the word shit. So it limits us.
So you have to do everything. What about with an asterisk? No?
No.
Poop?
Yeah. Yeah,
Poop's
we're
okay?
gonna do poo emoji. Like I own my poo emoji. It's not that exciting.
Yeah.
I actually, the rebel that I am, I wanted the team to let's fight Facebook for the rights to the word shit. But nobody has jumped on my campaign with me. I'm like, why don't we just fight them? Why don't we create a big campaign? Let's fight for the word shit. It's okay.
It's a valid cause.
That's it. Rebel that just wants to fight for anything.
Yeah. What else do you want to fight for?
Exactly.
So what's on your shit list?
Everything. Everything. Oh God, there's so much to fight for.
So what's next? Like, all right, wait. Before I get into that, so you weren't that focused on personal development before Poopouri, is that right?
No. Well...
Or were you still kind of into personal development?
So what happened was I filed bankruptcy, and I go to see a hypnotist, and I'm telling him basically that I'm in this shithole.
Did that work for you? I did a hypnotist once. It did nothing for me.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I hear it really is effective. I think I was rebellious.
Do you think that it's only effective, though, for people that, like,
aren't stubborn?
Yeah, like
probably.
Yeah, I was looking for like a nice
you're
word
not
there, but
in.
but I'm like, good luck getting into that. It's coated with steel all around it.
It's a vault. There's a vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Try
probably.
to encrypt my password up there, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I definitely feel that. But anyway, so I go to this hypnotist, and I'm telling him like, my woe is me story, and he says, the problem is you have no meaning in your life. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have meaning. Like, I have kids. I know there's a God. And he's like, yeah. And he gives me the book, Man's Search for Meaning from Viktor Frankl. Have you read that?
Mm-mm.
What? Hello.
If you came to
Fellow
my house
Jew.
and looked at my library, it's probably the opposite of what most people,
What my books are? Yeah, mine are all.
Yeah.
I haven't read any of the business books, but I've read all the personal development ones.
Yeah, mine are like math and chess books and finance books. Well, and there's starting to bleed into some personal.
I'm gonna go digging in that library soon.
I mean, that's like all from my past life. Now, like the newer books are more personal development. But
it's like you better watch it. You're making it really appetizing for people out there. They're gonna this covenant.
Anyone that wants to come in and just borrow a book, just you're welcome.
Yeah. So anyway, this book, what was so amazing is that sort of gave me a head tilt. Like, maybe there is more meaning out there, right? Mm-hmm. Than I think of. So that started my whole personal journey. I've studied lots of religions. I told you I studied Kabbalah, studied Hinduism, Buddhism. I started looking back at ancient, like Egyptians. I started looking through all religions. I just became fascinated with what am I doing here? Like that's one of my favorite questions. What are you doing?
But you're not studying religion because you're religious. You're more spiritual than religious, right?
I'm super spiritual.
Right.
Yeah, but I was fascinated.
Yeah, more from just an intellectual curiosity standpoint.
Well, I wanted to see if there's a religion. Where's this meaning? So I'm digging. I'm looking for meaning in religion, and I couldn't find it.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Leverage Podcast. Leverage is an on-demand outsourcing platform that helps small business owners and entrepreneurs scale their business. We have a team of experts that can help set up marketing and sales funnels, email marketing, podcasts, social media, paid media, and much more. Grow your business overnight with a team of experts you can trust to deliver. Accomplish more. Visit getleverage.com.